Hi guys, welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and I am super excited to be here, all right, because we're having a very important and interesting conversation, I might add, with regard to the UK evacuation that is supposed to end in Kabul within 24 to 36 hours, all right. Now, what that essentially means is that refugees are not actually going to have enough time to actually flee Kabul, all right, and that's going to be a big problem given the fact that the Taliban actually announced that these people couldn't actually leave the airport after, especially after they have especially after the troops leave, especially after the troops leave Afghanistan. All right, now make sure to stay tuned because we're actually going to head into a very short break, and after that we will be back to discuss this more. But until then, make sure you stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Like I was saying, we're going to be talking about Afghanistan. We're going to be talking about everything that is related to Afghanistan as well. So make sure to stay tuned. But right now, let's actually head into a conversation. Now, if you want to share your thoughts and opinions with me, please feel free to actually go ahead, share your thoughts, share your opinions, because all you need to do is just text me or call me on 07852473473. All right. It's super easy. That's pretty much all you have to do. And I would absolutely love to hear everything that you have to say as well, because that will help not just you and me, but also everyone else who's listening in to have a very important and interesting conversation and make sure that they are updated and informed about everything that is happening in the world. All right. So make sure to do that. Make sure to share your thoughts. Make sure to share your opinions because I would love to hear. Okay. And now let's actually head into our conversation because we know that Britain is actually going to end their evacuation in another 24 to 36 hours. All right. Now, Britain's evacuation from Kabul is actually expected to end within 24 to 36 hours, and that is potentially abandoning thousands of Afghans. And different sources have actually said that as this increasingly bullish Taliban move to prevent them traveling to the airport to flee. All right. So this is with the whole, this is with the development that the Taliban is actually trying to prevent people from fleeing to the airport and, fleeing to other countries as well. Okay. So obviously, to make sure that, they actually have some people to control, they don't want any more people to actually leave. Any more people to actually leave Afghanistan. All right. Now, the U.S. President Joe Biden actually rejected pleas from the United Kingdom for the humanitarian airlift to actually continue beyond 31st August at a virtual meeting of the G7 leaders on Tuesday. All right. Now, this also triggered claims from conservative MPs that the special relationship is over, and in fact, the U.S.-UK relations were about to enter the lowest point since Suez. Okay. And I'm not sure if you know the whole story, but remember when British military or British troops were trying to leave they were forced to leave the Suez Canal, and that whole thing. If you have, or what, if you actually don't know about it, you can you can do what everyone else does and read up on it on YouTube, but like I did, you can just watch The Crown and really just make sure that you're informed about that. But this is what they said. They said that US-UK relations are in fact going to enter the lowest point right now after G7. UK defense sources actually told that the US military is believed to need 2 to 3 days to close down its operations at Kabul airport, and British troops actually want to be at least 24 hours ahead of that. All right, and this is to essentially leave a small window for all these RAF flights that are evacuating those at risk from Taliban's takeover. All right, so with that in mind, we need to keep in mind that all Western forces are in fact set to leave within the next few days. Okay, now statement from Boris Johnson after the G7 summit actually focused on what he called a roadmap for future engagement with the Taliban, right? Which seems to be, quite a tacit acceptance that world leaders are in fact right now very powerless in the face of the group's takeover of Afghanistan after the 20-year war. Okay. Now, the UK Prime Minister did not actually mention sanctions, but instead what he did was he set out conditions for unfreezing billions of dollars in aid, including the education of girls up to the age of 18. All right. Now, we know that the World Bank has already cut off aid, and they're basically, not giving any more money to Afghanistan because of the Taliban takeover. And he basically said, so basically what Boris Johnson said was, if those huge funds are going to be unfrozen eventually for use by the government and people of Afghanistan, then what we're saying is Afghanistan can't lurch back into being a breeding ground of terror, right? It can't become a narco state, and girls will be educated up to the age of 18 and so on. All right. Now, that is what he had to say. All right. Make sure to stay tuned because we're going to head into a small break. And after that, we will be back to discuss more of this. But obviously, until then, make sure that you stay tuned.
Cycling in London is not child's play. How to be a better cyclist. Listen to my show, only on Relaks Radio. I'm Kevin. Join me every Thursday, 5 p.m. Look forward to seeing you.
Hi guys, welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio. And I'm super excited to be here because we're having a very important conversation with regard to the UK evacuation that is supposed to end in Kabul, right? So it's supposed to end in 24 to 36 hours, and that's why we're obviously talking about all of these things, because we need to make sure that people are evacuated as soon as possible and that people are safe from the Taliban, because obviously what the Taliban has currently said or presently said is that after the troops leave the airport, people aren't going to be allowed to flee anymore, right? Which is essentially telling people, look, you know what, you're not going to get out of here. We're not going to let you get out of here. And the truth is, if I was told that, I would be so terrified. All right. So we need to make sure that we try and protect these people as much as we can. And that's why we're talking about this, because we need to make sure that people understand, or governments themselves understand. Countries like the United Kingdom and the United States, we played an active role in the conflict in Afghanistan. So we definitely have a duty to that country, to all the people who helped us, to actually make sure that we can get as many of them out of Afghanistan as soon as possible, because it's not something that is unknown. It's not something that is like completely new. We know that these people are at risk, especially people who've helped the United States, the United Kingdom, and these people are really at a huge risk from the Taliban. All right. Now, if you want to share your thoughts with us, make sure to text me or call me on 078-52-473-473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions. Let me know what you're thinking, and let me know what your thoughts are. All right. Feel free to share them with me, because I would love to hear everything that you have to say. But also don't forget to go like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and actually make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And don't forget to download our app, because that's available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And that will definitely help you stay informed and updated about all of these different things that we're talking about. All right. But back to our conversation about, the British evacuation. Now, on Tuesday night, Biden actually said he wanted all US troops to be withdrawn from Afghanistan as soon as possible before the 31st of August deadline. All right. Now, but he also said that, contingency plans are being drawn up to extend the withdrawal should that become necessary. Okay, now Biden said his discussion with G7 leaders today had been productive, and he also told reporters that there was strong agreement among the leaders, both about the evacuation mission underway, as well as the need to coordinate our approach to Afghanistan as we move forward. All right, now the leaders of the EU, the NATO, and the UN as well all agree that we will stand united in our approach to the Taliban, and we will judge them by their actions and stay in close coordination on any steps that they may take moving forward. All right. So essentially, they're going to maintain a united stance, but we don't really know how exactly that's going to work out. So far, all the information that we have is, they'll take or maintain a united front with regard to the situation in Afghanistan. All right. Now, Britain is actually among nations pushing to establish whether a civilian run airport in Afghanistan could actually be used after 31st August, and that is possibly operated by Turkey, right? In the hope that those at risk from the Taliban, that is, human rights activists, judges, prosecutors, and even LGBTQ plus advocates, will be able to find a route to safety. Okay. Now, the US refusal to extend its presence in the Afghan capital was in fact anticipated. This is not something that we didn't anticipate, and it's not at least as the Pentagon had, not least as the Pentagon had ruled out a change of plan while the G7 meeting was still taking place. But in fact, it still prompted significant anger among Tory MPs and ministers. Okay. Now, a lot of the fury largely remains focused on Biden, but Downing Street is, aware that the G7 meeting will be seen as another sign of Johnson's limited sway with the White House. All right. So that is what the discussion is. Now, make sure to stay tuned because I will be back in a few more minutes to discuss more about this. But until then, make sure you stay tuned because we're actually going to head into a small break right now. And after that, we will be back to discuss this further.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money?